Can you imagine losing someone you love suddenly to an illness or a tragic accident? We will never be prepared for tragedies like that, but today's case is about a person who took things too far out of fear of being left alone. Today's case is definitely a bizarre one, and to this day there are still questions that remain unanswered. Let's dive into today's case, the Bangbae mummy case. In December 2013, an anonymous call was received by the Bangbae police station located in the Seocho district, a neighborhood in southern Seoul. The police were tipped off that a neighbor who had been battling cancer 7 years ago had suddenly disappeared. Rumors were already circulating in the neighborhood that the house where the vanished man lived was haunted, with some witnesses claiming to have seen a ghost of a man standing on the veranda of the house. Several people said the house was leaking a bad smell. Although the police visited the house many times, no one ever opened the door. As suspicion grew, the police finally issued a search warrant on December 26, 2013, and were able to open the door that had been shut to outsiders for so many years. When the police entered the home, the house was well kept and neat. However, when they went further into the living room, they discovered a shocking scene. A body of a man, which appeared to have died a long time ago, was lying on top of a bed sheet on the floor. The even more shocking aspect of this discovery was that the man's body was well preserved, as if he had been mummified. According to police, his nose, teeth, and hair were still visible. There were no signs of foul play, according to the National Forensic Service report. However, this cause of death was unclear since he had been dead for some time. But here, there was something strange about his wife's reaction to the police. When the police asked his wife, surnamed Cho, why she kept the corpse of her husband in the house, she responded as if she didn't understand what they were telling her. Cho told the police that her husband was not dead. She explained that he looked unwell because of the liver cancer he had, but he was still alive. After the police began investigating the case, they discovered that the wife even washed her husband's dead body and changed his clothes every day. This continued for 7 years. As eerie as it may seem, she was not the only one who believed that the man was still alive. It has been revealed that her 3 children also never forgot to greet their father whenever they returned home. The wife explained that the family lived a normal life, believing he was just sick but not dead. This explanation was hard to believe. The family is said to have lived a happy life, so people who knew the couple well found it difficult to comprehend how something like this could happen to them. The deceased husband was a high-ranking public official. Cho also earned a substantial income as a pharmacist. They were described as a happily married couple who loved one another very much. Cho would often tell people that if she had the opportunity to marry him again in her next life, she would do so without hesitation. It was reported by his friends that he appeared to be experiencing a breakdown after he learned he had cancer. As he explained to his friends, his doctor had told him that modern medical technology could not cure his cancer, so he was turning to religion for assistance. It was then that he got himself out of the hospital and began treating himself at home. He last appeared in hospital records at the end of 2006, and he has vanished into thin air since then. Neither his closest friends nor anyone else has heard from him ever since. His friends and colleagues were concerned and visited him several times, but his wife would not allow them in, saying he was in poor health and needed rest. Cho was a dedicated member of the church. At church, she always told people how well she was taking care of her sick husband. Often, she would tell them she even had to wash his hair because he wasn't able to move by himself. This is why their bizarre cohabitation went unnoticed for a very long time. It was only when the police forced themselves into the house that the shocking truth of this case came to light. Rumors and speculations began to swirl around Cho after the public learned about the mummified man kept in the house. Some argue that the wife believed in her husband's resurrection because of her extreme religious beliefs. The investigation revealed, however, that she was a staunch Catholic and was not a member of any religious cult. While the case was shocking to many, there were a lot of questions about how this cohabitation could have gone unnoticed for so long. How was it possible to preserve his body in such good condition? Has she used any chemicals to prevent the decomposition of his body? Normally, the process of decomposition starts within minutes of death. The breakdown starts as soon as the heart stops pumping blood through the body, and when oxygenated blood stops flowing, cells die. Bacteria in the abdomen rapidly multiply, creating gases that cause the body to bloat and smell, which attracts insects. Because Cho was a pharmacist, some suggested she might have used chemicals to preserve his body. However, the case remains a mystery to this day because it has been revealed that there was no trace of preservative treatment being practiced on his body. His dead body did not exhibit any signs of embalming, according to the National Forensic Service. They presumed that the man had been suffering from liver cancer for a long time, and years of chemotherapy had thinned his body, resulting in accelerated dehydration. Additionally, his wife used to spray disinfectants on everything she touched. Her frequent use of disinfectants may have prevented insects from corroding his body. However, these are all assumptions, not proven facts. Aside from the fact that the body was preserved so well for 7 years without any special equipment, it was also very strange that their children lived a normal life as if their father had always been alive. The wife was immediately arrested on charges of abandoning a dead body. However, the prosecution did not file a criminal charge against her. They concluded that the act of cleaning her husband's body every day and applying disinfectants to keep him clean did not constitute intentional abandonment of a dead body. The prosecution has also taken into account the fact that during the investigation, his wife stated that she never knew her husband was dead. Her condition has been described by experts as delusion disorder. In her view, his body was not a dead body, but a living being capable of waking up at any moment. Police said she told them during an interrogation that she slept next to her husband every night and that she could hear his heartbeat. However, the case took a new turn in July 2015 when her coworker claimed she was fraudulent. According to the coworker, since the death of Cho's husband in April 2007, Cho has been receiving the leave of absence benefits and salary of her deceased husband worth more than $164,000. The prosecution found that she visited her husband's workplace and applied for voluntary retirement on his behalf, claiming he was ill and was unable to do so himself. The prosecution indicted her on charges of fraud. Even so, the court found her not guilty of fraud since she already had substantial income and had not claimed her husband's insurance despite the fact that she was eligible for it. Her actions did not prove a criminal motive, according to the court. The court found her innocent, and her life returned to normal. However, in the weeks following her husband's cremation, it has been reported that she had difficulty moving forward and adjusting to life without him. That was a story of a woman who couldn't let go of her dead husband and believed that he was alive for 7 years before the police found his mummified body in her home. While it is a sad but bizarre story about a woman overly obsessed with her husband, How his body was preserved for 7 years remains unknown, as does whether the family truly believed that he was alive. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.